Jai Hind everyone. So welcome to the most requested video on my YouTube, which is how to write down stories in the TAT of psychological tests. So I'm here to remind you that before this video starts, please grab a pen and a notebook so that you can note down all the important points while we are discussing this. And this is going to be a longer video, so in case you need a cup of tea or a glass of water, please feel free to do that. And I will be breaking it down into few parts for your easier understanding. And let's not waste time and begin. First of all, let's understand what is TAT. TAT stands for Thematic Appreciation Test. Yes, in which you are shown 11 pictures and one blank story which you have to write. This happens on the second day of SSB once you have cleared your screening and round. After that, you are given 30 seconds to observe the picture and 4 minutes to write down a story which comes to your mind looking at that picture. What is the objective of these TAT tests? Through these TAT tests, they are trying to find out officer-like qualities, which is also called OLQs, through your thinking, your decisions, and your actions. All these three things you will be displaying in your stories. So through them, they link it to your OLQs, and that's how you are being tested. Talk about why TAT is so powerful. Because you cannot fake yourself for 12 stories. Yes, you can do that for maybe 1, 2, or 3 stories. But then what happens is your subconscious will take over. It is not humanly possible to write down 12 stories consciously. Yes, because there is a limited time, and in that limited time period, you will not be having so much of time to think about these stories consciously and then write them down. So the time is very limited, the time pressure is there. That is why these tests will reveal the real you. You will not be able to fake for a very long time in these 12 stories. So from your 4th or 5th story, the real you will start coming in. So what do these stories reveal? These stories will reveal about you, that how do you handle challenges? How much initiative do you take? Are you someone who plays a victim card? Are you someone who is a solution-oriented person? Or are you someone who treat others badly? Or are you someone who treats everyone with respect, doesn't matter what they are doing in their life? So your stories are revealing all these qualities about you. So let's talk about what are the OLQs which generally comes out in TAT. So what are the OLQs they are looking for? First is your initiative. Second is your social responsibility. Third is your organizing skills. Yes. Fourth is your social adaptability. And fifth is your reasoning ability. Okay. So every story will have a psychological profile, and through that profile, these are the OLQs which are being extracted. One secret of writing a good TAT story is observation. Yes, those 30 seconds which are given to you, they are given to you just for observing the picture. In those 30 seconds, please don't start forming a story in your head. Yes, don't try to push a theme inside that story. What you should be doing is that you should be concentrating upon all the details of the story. What is the time of the day? What is the background? What kind of clothes the characters are wearing? What is the background, urban or is it rural? Is it raining or is it a windy day? Is it a sunny day? What exactly people are going through? If it is an accident, they will be going through a negative mood. If it's some sort of celebration, they will have positive and cheerful mood. So all these things, all these observations will help you to build a story. Okay, just do not focus on one main character. Focus on everything else around the picture. That if there is something in the background, like for example, I'm putting a picture here, just seeing this picture, the lady is holding the person who is driving the scooter. The bus which is moving is going to Red Fort. It means it is talking about the area of Delhi. So in your story, you cannot write in the city of Mumbai, right? So if you will not observe these small things, you will be going to make mistakes in your story. So remember and see, there are books flying. The person who has met with an accident, you can see there are books which are flying in the air. And I'm so sorry for this call. Okay, so you see there are books flying. So it means the person is a student who is using a cycle to commute. So remember to focus on the tiniest of the detail when you are looking at the picture for 30 seconds. That will help you to make your story in a very cohesive manner. It will not be just hanging there and here. So remember to observe the smallest of the detail, the facial expressions, the mood, the sex, the background, the clothes they are wearing, and the weather. So all these things will help you to build a very strong story. Now, the second secret is your hero. So obviously we all are choosing a person as the hero in the story. So first of all, don't listen to all these myths of the coaching academies that the hero has to be of your own age, or they have to be female, or they have to be male. No, hero has to be someone who is taking initiative and who is acting as per the situation. Yes, so hero can be anyone. It can be a man or it can be a woman too. So what I want you to focus on here is that, is your hero someone who is actually doing something? He has to be someone who is taking the responsibility, who is taking the initiative, and who knows that what are the point of actions I need to take when there is any sort of difficult situation. So yes, there will be a lot of pressure, and when there is pressure, how does the hero behaves? Is the hero someone who starts shouting? Is he someone who starts panicking? Is he someone who doesn't know what to do next? So hero has to be someone who knows clearly that yes, this is my first step, this is my second step, and this is my third step. So just an example, looking at the same picture which we discussed earlier, that in case there is an accident, first you will be giving a call to the police. Second, you will be taking first aid out of your own scooter or from the bus. Okay, and then you will be giving first aid to the injured person. Third, you will be informing the local traffic police or someone who is available nearby. So these are just the examples that how will you make sure that your story goes in some sequence. It cannot happen that there is no sequence of actions as a hero. He cannot go haywire, he cannot say that picked him up and took him to hospital. Okay, so he's actually not doing any action from his own front. Okay, so in case there is any accident, first of all, you need to inform the police. You need to find out if there is someone from the traffic police who's there, or in case there are some bruises or there is some sort of blood. So you can always use your own ingenuity to give the first aid. So that's what I would stress upon as a hero. So your character has to be someone who is strong, who takes initiative, who knows what to do in the time of crisis. For example, if there is a flood situation being shown, so you cannot be someone like I have seen the candidates whom I train. They will write in the stories that he will go and he will make sure that his clothes are inside, or he will pick up all the clothes which were lying outside. No, at the time of calamities, it's not your clothes which are important. It is the human lives which are important. Okay, so first of all, you will make sure that everyone in the family, everyone in the village, everyone in your community area is safe. So that's what hero will do. He will not go and he will not start picking up कपड़े नहीं उठाने लगेगा वो बाहर से, क्योंकि कपड़े गीले हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. So be very very sensible, be very very mindful of what you are writing. So the best thing to do that is always imagine yourself in that situation. That imagine if you are in a situation where there is flood. So what will you do? You will not be, आप कपड़े नहीं उठा रहे होगे, आप अपने स्कूटर को अंदर नहीं कर रहे होगे, या फिर आप ये सब नहीं कर रहे होगे. What you will be doing is you will be a citizen who is actually helpful. So you will be saving people, you will be saving lives, you will be helping them to get at the safer places. So that's what a real hero will do. So remember, also the point you need to remember here is that do not be superficial, do not be a superhuman. Okay, we don't want superhuman, we want people with little bit of common sense. That's it. So you should not be someone who's a superman. He will go to the 4th house and he will save him, he will go to the 5th house running and save everyone from there. No, that's not possible. So always remember what is doable, what is achievable, what is something you can actually do at the time of crisis. So remember these points when you are writing a story and when you are making a hero. So the hero has to be someone who is sensible, who is not a superman, who do things which are actually achievable by you and me. So let's come to the favorite part of the candidates, that is action. So most of the people will say, ma'am, I don't know what to write in action. Ma'am, I don't know how should I approach the action or what I should be writing in the action. So for the ease of understanding, I always divide the action in 3 parts. Okay. So what you can do here is that आप इसको 3 भाग में divide कर सकते हैं action को. The first can be the assessment. Assessment of what? कि what is the problem in the picture? क्या आप अपनी स्टोरी में प्रॉब्लम बता रहे हैं? So what is the problem? Assessment कीजिए इसका. सेकेंड इज इनिशिएटिव. अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम पता चल गई है तो उसका सोल्यूशन क्या है, उस सोल्यूशन को इनिशिएट करना इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द हीरो. एंड थर्ड थिंग विच वी ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट इज एग्जीक्यूशन. ओके, सो इट इज असेसमेंट, इनिशिएटिव एंड एग्जीक्यूशन. 3 अल्फाबेट्स विच आर इम्पॉर्टेंट व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग द एक्शन. एग्जीक्यूशन में ये इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आपने उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कैसे किया. व्हाट डिड यू डू to solve that problem? How did you approach it? I'm sorry about the noise which is coming in. There is some construction going on. Okay, so the next point you need to remember while you are writing the actions is that it should be based on the skills and resources you actually have. Okay, you must include and talk about skills. ओके, एंड यू मस्ट टॉक अबाउट रिसोर्सेज कि वो काम हुआ कैसे. जैसे कि अगर आपने किसी को फर्स्ट एड दिया तो वो फर्स्ट एड कहाँ से आया, वो बॉक्स कहाँ से आया. ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ कि एक्सीडेंट हुआ और आपके हाथ में बॉक्स था. ओके, सो अगर एक्सीडेंट हुआ तो आपने वो फर्स्ट एड बॉक्स किस जगह से लिया. दूसरी चीज़, रिसोर्सेज और क्या होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दैट इन केस देर इज़ एन एक्सीडेंट एंड यू वॉन्टेड टू टेक द विक्टिम टू द हॉस्पिटल. So what resource did you use? Did you take him to the hospital on your motorcycle? Did you use a auto? Did you call for an ambulance? So how did the person got to that place? It is important to mention that. Also remember that the actions you are writing, they have to be something which you can actually do in your current position. What all can you do? देखो, अगर if you have to organize a blood donation camp, you can definitely do that. If you have to do a awareness campaign, you can do that. If you have to solve dispute in a hostel by talking to both the parties, you can do that. If you have to volunteer in the time of crisis, you can always do that. What you cannot do, you cannot leave everything behind. आप अपनी पढ़ाई लिखाई छोड़ करके ऐसा नहीं हो सकता that you will go and start making a bridge, or you will go and start making a dam, or you will go start agriculture, reformation which people of your village want you to do. So the story action has to be very very logical. Okay, you cannot take on the projects which you are not authorized to take on. Can you build a dam in 10 days or 20 days? No, you cannot, but you will write in your stories. So people write stories like startup. So one of my candidates, he was telling me that, ma'am, he started a startup and it flourished and they earned money. So now that we have discuss the resources a lot, let me briefly explain you that what are the skills. So imagine you see a drowning case happening. So what is the skill required there? The skill required is swimming. Yes, so if you see someone drowning in the river, so you will write down that he knew swimming, and as he was a national swimmer, he went ahead and swam across the river and saved his life. Okay, because that hero is you. Also, if you want to save someone's life who is lying unconscious on the road, so you can always mention that he informed the police, and after informing the police, he was driving in his own car, so he took the person in his own car to the hospital. So that shows your driving skills. Okay, so all sort of skills you can mention here, right? If you are someone who is a head girl and you have this responsibility of carrying out the annual function, so what are your skills here? Your skills which will be seen here is your organizing ability. आप कैसे जो annual function है उसको organize करते हैं? What all are you keeping in mind? How are you managing the guests? How are you managing the kids there in that function? So all these points, they will show your skills, and when you show all these things, that's how your OLQs will start coming out automatically. You do not need to write, don't need to write the words of OLQs in your story. People will always tell you to write with his sense of responsibility he did that. No, ये लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, right? आप जब काम करते हैं, आपने जब बंदे को उठाया रोड से, आप उसको ले जा रहे हैं एम्बुलेंस की तरफ या आप उसको ले जा रहे हैं हॉस्पिटल की तरफ, दैट शोज योर सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. अगर if there would have been no sense of responsibility, then that person would have been lying there. So you do not need to write these specific OLQ words. When you will do the actions, the OLQs will automatically comes out. So please stop focusing on what OLQ is coming out, what this thing is happening. No, that's not your thing to do. That is something which is supposed to be done by the examiner, and let him do his job. You do your job as a candidate. You focus on writing a good story. You focus on becoming a person who is responsible, and automatically every OLQ will come out. Okay, so do not bother about the OLQ next time when you write down the stories. So tip number 4 here is that how can you write these action sentences starters. Okay, so I have written few of them, and I'll just give you an example. He coordinated with so and so. He gathered information and started working. He planned a step-by-step solution. Okay, or you can write down like he involved the local people, or he motivated others to join in. So these are some of the action-oriented sentences which you can use. So I want you to keep writing these things down so that next time when you are going to practice your TAT, you can look at these points and you can write a better TAT story. Okay, the next tip you should remember while writing these stories is do not force happy endings. Yes, you should not be someone who is working for awards, who is working for recognition, or who is working for some kind consideration of government. Yes, so you should not be working towards some judgment. Also, in life, it is not possible to have happy endings all the time. Okay, so it doesn't matter that if you have started something, it has to end in a very, very positive note. No, you can always say that. Imagine you are talking about a startup. I always hate the idea of startup in stories though. But then imagine you are talking about that. You cannot say that within a month they were millionaires. No. So it shows that you are someone who is too quick in your actions, and you just want the results to quickly, which is not possible. Okay, so you can always say that for an year he kept on working hard in his business, and he saw his business growing day by day, rather than saying that in 2 months he was at the peak. No. So always go step by step, and don't force happy endings in your stories. It's not important. Okay, if you will have a happy ending, that will not show that you are a true hero or you're a true leader. So remember that, okay? It has to be achievable. It has to be something you can actually do in your real life in that much of time. ओके एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम जो सारे बच्चे मुझे बताते हैं वो ये है कि मैम मुझे स्टोरी देख के आइडिया नहीं आ रहा है. एंड समहाउ जब वो मेरे को ऐसा बोलते हैं तो आई एम काइंड ऑफ शॉक्ड कि आइडिया कैसे नहीं आ रहा है. So imagine you are someone who is on your, phone for like 2 hours when you are at home. You are in the college for 6 to 7 hours, and then you are in your room where you keep your door locked. So how will you have ideas? A life, if you have not lived it, you will not have stories to tell. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean is that how good you are as a son and a daughter, first of all. How good you are as a citizen of the society where you are living in. How good of a student you are in the school and the college. Okay? So if you have done all these responsibilities and you have lived all these roles with a lot of zeal and strength and a lot of initiativeness, you will always have stories to write. Okay? So why do I say that? Because imagine if your mom is sick, you go and you help her in the kitchen. Imagine your sibling needs homework help, you just go and you do that. Imagine there is a college event and you show your planning and execution there as a head girl or a head boy. You solved a problem between your friends by your leadership skills. So when you have actually done all these things in your life, that is the time there will be scenarios in your own head, and that is the time when you will see them in pictures, you will be able to write better stories. So remember, next time when you say this, that you do not have ideas when you look at the picture, it means you're not living your life real well. What you need to do is you need to go out, spend some more time with people, spend some more time outside rather than being glued to your phone, your screens, looking at news and gathering every information which is there on social media. So that's what I mean, and that's what you should be focusing on. Are you living your life really well? That's when you will have lots and lots of stories to tell. So my next tip here is that stop memorizing these stories and start thinking. How can you do that in real life? Okay. So what I used to do as an aspirant is I used to look at the views. Imagine I'm sitting in a bus and the bus is moving and I'm going to my college and I see a view of a market area where I see lots and lots of shops, and there is a cycle repair shop where some person is repairing a bicycle. So I used to have that picture in my head and I used to say that, okay, Anita, now write a story about this picture. So you can have these sorts of things even if you are traveling in a metro, you're traveling in bus, you're traveling in your scooter, you're standing on red light. So whatever, wherever you look, just imagine that it is a picture, okay? And just tell yourself or your mind to write a story on that. The more you will practice, the more ideas you will have. So next time, remember, you do not need to memorize the stories and the themes and the actions. What you need to do is be a little more mindful when you are actually living this life. Because I keep on telling this, what you do in those 5 days in the SSB is not important. How you are living it every day is something which is very important. So the last and the final tip is TAT is a mirror of your personality. Yes. So next time, remember not to use a lot of fancy words when you're writing the TAT. Whatever your personality is, whatever your thoughts are, the clearer you think, the better you are going to write. So remember to improve yourself and remember to work on all these points which I have mentioned, and with help of all these points and working on your everyday life with the habits which I have already covered in previous videos, you will be able to write the best of these stories. So it's okay if you have been making mistakes in writing TATs, but don't run behind the 100 stories and themes. It's definitely not about what you mug up. It is definitely about how you are and how your thought process works. So start focusing on that, and I'm sure you will be able to clear it with flying colors. In case you have any specific questions, please put them down in the comment section. I would love to address them in the next follow-up video I will make. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.